My pitch is a project I've always wanted to create since I first fell in love with film, and that is a martial arts short. Because I think martial arts is without a doubt one of the most visually stimulating and stunning form of film, I wanted to express my love for the genre by trying my hand writing and directing this idea. As of now, the script is completely finished. It is called The Crook, the Brother, and the Boss. The summary of the story is a crook tries to rescue his brother from a mob boss after a drug deal goes south, but the only way the man can fight is by being high on drugs. The main reason for having my main character only knowing how to fight when being on drugs is an homage to the film series Drunken Master, as the main character has to be drunk to perform his fighting style. For inspiration, rather than focusing on certain films, I'm looking towards the certain individuals who create those films. Individuals like Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan, Woo Sun-yip, Akira Kurosawa, and Gareth Evans. Out of the inspirations previously mentioned, the main three that I'm going to focus on the most are Sammo Hung, especially for his use of slow-mo to emphasize certain punches and hits while also helping with the pacing of action scenes. Jackie Chan, with his mixture of handheld and static shots, moving from mid-close-up to wide shots to establish the environment around to show the audience where the characters are located and if there are any objects around that could be used within the fight itself. Probably my biggest inspiration for this entire film, which will actually hinder on how well the film does itself, is Gareth Evans, and especially for his use of pre-visualization fights. If you are unaware what pre-visualization fights are, it is when the stunt team rehearses fight scenes working with the director to map out the entirety of a whole entire sequence. Gareth uses it to direct, film, and edit his fight scenes, to have a final locked-off version of the fights before production has even begun. This was a tool that was told to Gareth Evans after a friend of his who was a Hong Kong casting director watched Gareth's first film, Morantu, because the film had long takes and action. This tool is an extremely effective one, and it ensures the shots are efficient and the actors know their parts, with Gareth Evans describing the process very well.
We've got that block of shots sitting on an edit. We can go through shot by shot by shot, and then when we're on location, start replacing those shots with the production version. So while I'm cutting the scene as we're shooting it, and then we'll drop it in there, and then we can see the cuts and go from previs into the production shot back into previs. And we know if those cuts are working, we know if the rhythms and the flow of the cut is working for us.
It also helps with the actors not being tired out by doing these long-winded takes. It is the single most important tool that is not used enough. It allows me personally to see the action fully and understand even more from a filming standpoint, also making full use of the longer pre-production time we are given. While also being big inspirations, a big visual look that I'm going for is having a mixture of fighting style and comedic elements of my other two mentioned inspirations, Sammo Hung and Jackie Chan. I'd also like this to have the look as if it was filmed on actual celluloid, which would be a visual effect done later in post-production, but is a look that I really want done, as it harkens back to my favorite era of kung fu movies, the 70s and the 80s. To ensure the safety to my actors and everyone on set, I'm going to cast martial artists as my leads and extras. This will allow me to build the fight scenes in the previs, as well as the relationship with the actors, as we've designed the scenes together and have built a level of trust among one another. I also wanted martial artists, as there is a certain on-screen presence that trained individuals have while fighting. It also means the look of the actors in the midst of the action will look more natural and give off a better performance overall. With as of now, many people applying to my Stana application who are experienced martial artists wanting to work on this project. While having multiple inspiration in three main big ones, I'll also be using certain films as bibles for making this short, and those films are Police Story 1 and 2, The Raid 1 and 2, Wheels on Meals, Dragon Forever, Project A 1 and 2, and Ip Man 1, 2, 3, and 4. Although having these inspirations, one thing that is consistent among all martial art movies that people don't realize is the rhythm. Not only is it a visually stimulating thing, all the fights have a rhythm to them. Usually the rhythm goes block, 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 punch. And this is one main element that I'm going to have consistent through my whole thing, is rhythm. And I need to make sure that not only does it look incredible, but that it flows naturally, which is why I'm going to be working very closely with the sound mixer and the editor to ensure the visual and the sound both flow perfectly and fit the style. In regards to why I should direct, with all the projects I've pitched in the past, they were all things I would have liked to have done. But this project isn't something I would like to do. This is something that I have to do, because I know I can do it. Some of you may be wondering, what do you get out of it? Imagine not only saying that you've worked on a martial arts short, but then getting to show it to people, whether that's friends, family, or something to put in your show reel. It would look very impressive to show potential employers. I hope you are interested in joining my project because it will definitely be an experience and a fun one to make.